So that wasn't a bad way to start the new season, was it? A 3-0 win away at Fulham. In this video I just look back at that game in more detail. Hello, I'm Richard and welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, which features everything to do with Arsenal. Now in this video I just really want to look back at yesterday's superb 3-0 victory at Fulham. Great way to start the new season. I just want to look back at the performance. Before I get into that though, I just want to make sure that you're all subscribing to the channel. I did pass 100 subscribers over this weekend, which has been fantastic, so thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed so far. So if you haven't done so far, please do so now. It'd be great to have you on board to stay in touch with all the videos that I'm doing. And if you do like this video as well, please give it a thumbs up as well, because that also helps to grow the channel. So yesterday away at Fulham, the first game of the season, always an exciting time, isn't it? You can be optimistic, you're level on points with everybody else, everybody's starting level, and it's just an exciting time, isn't it? A new season, and I know things are a bit different this year, aren't they? It's the latest in the year that a new season started, of course, the second week in September, and of course it's not that long ago since last season finished. Of course, the big issue was having no fans in the stadium as well, which really frustrating and disappointing, but unfortunately there's nothing we can do about that. But let's not let that distract away from the fact that we've started the season in superb style. Don't get me wrong, Fulham are probably going to be one of the weaker teams in the league this year. I think they're going to struggle, and it wouldn't be a surprise to anybody if they returned immediately back to the Championship, as they have done on the previous two seasons that they've played in the Premier League. But having said that, going away from home is never easy. A newly promoted side generally are up for it. They're buzzing after the success that they had in the playoff final, particularly at the end of last season. And I was anticipating quite a tricky game. In terms of the team selection, there was one or two surprises. Now Bernd Leno started in goal, which to me wasn't a surprise. He was the #1 goalkeeper last season until his injury. Fully deserved that role as well. And although Emi Martinez had come in and done a fantastic job, didn't he? Let's be honest, he was brilliant towards the end of last season. I don't think there was much doubt that Leno was going to retain his #1 position once he was fit. That's exactly what happened, and also as well, with all the speculation over Martinez is potentially leaving the club and joining for Aston Villa this week, he wasn't even included on the bench. So I do think we may well have seen the last of Emi Martinez in an Arsenal shirt, which is a shame because he's been at the club a long time, and it's always a shame when a player like that has to leave the club. But at the end of the day, he's made that decision. He didn't want to fight for the place in the team, maybe because he knew that Leno was going to be #1, I don't know. So it was Matt Macy who was the reserve goalkeeper on the bench yesterday, as indeed he was for much of the end of last season as well. So Bernd Leno started in goal. It was a back three to begin with, very similar to the Community Shield. Rob Holding on the right of the three, Kieran Tierney on the left of the three, and maybe it was a slight surprise to see Gabriel starting in the centre. Of course, he's only recently joined the club. Lack of game time really in recent months due to the obviously French league shutting down and not completing the season after March, so he hadn't played competitive football for a long time. It was maybe a bit of a surprise to see him in the team, but it was great to have a look at him for the first time. The midfield, it was sort of started basically the 4 across midfield. Hector Bellerin on the right hand side as a wing back, Ainsley Maitland-Niles on the left side as a wing back, and it was the same midfield that played in the Community Shield with Granit Xhaka and Mohamed El Neni as well, who deserves to keep his place actually after being brilliant at Wembley, wasn't he? And in the front three, we had Aubameyang on the left as expected, and in the front the central striker was Alexander Lacazette on this occasion, and on the right hand side we saw a Arsenal debut for Willian. So two Brazilian debutants started the game for us, and actually both of those two players stood out, didn't they? They were both brilliant throughout the game. There was a little bit at the start. You'd have expected Fulham to come at us a little bit. They would have been, really up for the game. Their manager Scott Parker would have had them fully committed from the start, and there was a little bit of a communication breakdown between Gabriel and Bernd Leno very early in the game. Obviously, Gabriel not really speaking much English at the moment, so you can maybe understand that there could be a few issues there. Almost let Fulham in for an early goal, but Bernd Leno made a great save actually, which was quite important in the game as well. When you're away from home, particularly early in the season against a newly promoted team, it's vital that you don't concede first, because chasing the game creates you more problems because you then leave yourself open to counter attacks and stuff like that. So that was a crucial save actually very early in the game. But after that we started to get into our rhythm and get into our stride. Now what I liked about Gabriel, very quickly it became clear how comfortable he is on the ball, bringing the ball out of defences, passing was assured, and of course apart from anything else he's a big unit, isn't he? Very strong physical presence. His one-on-one defending was fantastic. It's not often I can remember seeing an Arsenal player who's that good at a one-on-one defending as he looked yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. From early on in the game you could see what a great player he's going to be for us, and of course he went on to have a fantastic game. We started to get on top, and we were given the great boost actually to get an early goal in the game. It's good, isn't it, when you're away from home? As I said, to score the first goal is fantastic because it does give you a good platform, and that's something that maybe we have found difficult to do over the last couple of seasons, which is why we've struggled to get results away from home. But we did get the early goal this time. It was just 8 minutes on the clock. It was maybe a little bit of a scrappy goal in some ways. I mean, I think it was Bellerin put the ball across to Aubameyang. He'd gone a little bit wider left than he'd maybe wanted to. He pulled the ball back to Granit Xhaka. His shot wasn't particularly well struck. It sort of bobbled around in a penalty area. Fulham couldn't clear their lines, and it looked as though Willian was going to get a debut goal actually. His close range effort produced a good save by the Fulham goalkeeper in actual fact, but Lacazette was where he needs to be, in the 6-yard box, finishing things off. Got a nice easy finish for himself to put us 1-0 up. And that's actually the second time in 4 seasons that Lacazette scored the opening goal of the Premier League season. The first time, the first player to do that on 2 different seasons. So, you know, that was great for him. And of course it was great for us to give us that platform to build on. And of course build on it we did. After that there was not really a lot of doubt as to us winning that game. I didn't think. Completely in control. What I liked about the formation was the fact of how fluid it is, and how interchangeable it was. At times in the game it was almost became a 4-3-3. Bellerin dropping into right back, Tierney dropping across the left back, Maitland-Niles moving inside to create a midfield 3 when it was needed. We've done this of course before. It's an Arteta thing, isn't it? I think a Man City thing almost, and it's great that we can be this adaptable. The players are clearly comfortable doing it as well, which is great. And of course the other thing as well is how much better we are now when we don't have the ball. I say again, especially away from home. You can see the improvements that there's been in that area now for quite a long time under Arteta, and that was clear yesterday. When we lose the ball, everybody knows their job, everybody's filling in where they need to be, and we're very, very difficult to break down. Fulham only had 2 shots on target in the whole game, and yes, I know what people will say, it's only Fulham, but it's an away game in the Premier League. They're never easy, you know, and teams will go to Fulham and Fulham will beat them. So to only give them 2 shots on target, it just shows really how much more compact we've become, certainly over the last few months under Arteta, and that's a massive increase and a massive plus for the team, isn't it? Because that was always one of our weakest areas, and he's improved it massively. Now, at half time it was still only 1-0. We had a couple of chances to get the second goal, which would have you know, pretty much sealed it there and then. But while it's only 1-0 away in the Premier League, it's never safe, is it? And there was a slight concern that, you know, if Fulham were to get an equaliser, get back in the game, then it might have been a bit of a struggle. But of course we didn't allow that to happen. We were never going to, really, were we? Let's be honest. And we got the second goal. It was 4 minutes into the second half. Just really want to give Rob Holding a lot of credit for his part he played in it actually. His fantastic ball juggling on his knee before putting the ball through for Lacazette, and it led to the corner. Willian took it. Gabriel rose above their defence. Yes, it wasn't great defending. It wasn't a great header, if we're honest. It kind of come off the side of his shoulder, and went through the Fulham goalkeeper's legs. A little bit scrappy, but great for him, you know, scoring on his debut. I saw a stat to say he's only the 3rd Arsenal defender to score on his Premier League debut, following on from Steve Bold, who of course scored in the very first Premier League game that we played against Norwich, and also Thomas Vermaelen as well, who scored up at Everton back in 2009 on his debut. So he's joined good company there, and I thought the goal was fully deserved for his performance as well. So it was great for him. It was great for us to give us that 2-goal cushion, and of course Willian getting an assist as well, having played a part in the first goal. So it was that was a great moment all round. And of course now now we could really relax. And wasn't long until we got the third goal, was it? And that goal seems to be a recurring type of goal now for us. If you remember the first goal in the FA Cup semi-final against Manchester City, playing it out from the back down the right hand side, switching it across, and Aubameyang coming in at the far post. We did it again in a Community Shield, didn't we, against Liverpool? Exactly the same move, Aubameyang at the far post, and this goal again, exactly the same again. You know, nice little football out from the back, drew Fulham in, and then breakaway down the right hand side. El Neni was involved, the ball fell to Willian. It was him this time who played that crossfield ball from right to left. Previously we've seen Pepe do it, we've seen Bukayo Saka do it, now we've seen Willian do it. Across to Aubameyang, great first touch, cut inside on his right foot, curled it in the top corner. Brilliant goal, and it just sums up everything that this Arsenal team are now about under Arteta, and it gives us all reason to be massively optimistic for the season, and it just sort of capped really what was a very professional performance. You know, sometimes these games, I say, are difficult. We went there, and I'm not saying it was easy, but we produced a performance and the result, and it was fantastic. In the end, we could have scored a few more, couldn't we? Aubameyang had another couple of chances. Lacazette had a chance saved by the goalkeeper's legs. So you know, we could have ended up winning 4 or 5-0, which would have been even more impressive. But let's not be greedy. At the end of the day, the most important thing is the 3 points, and as well the clean sheet, and also as well how few chances we allowed Fulham. Just really want to go. I'm not going to go through player ratings as such, but just a couple of players that really, you know, stood out for me. Obviously, Gabriel and Willian, fantastic debut for the pair of them, absolutely brilliant. I mean, 2 great additions. If this is, you know, if they can produce these sort of performances on a regular basis throughout the season, then what 2 fantastic signings they're going to be. I never understood the negativity around the Willian signing, a free transfer from Chelsea, the quality that he's got, and he showed that yesterday, absolutely brilliant. And Gabriel maybe surprised us all with how great he was, so let's hope he can continue that as well throughout the season. Also, Hector Bellerin, I think he needs certain amount of credit as well, because he's took a lot of criticism over the last year or so since he's come back from his injury, but I think he's getting back to his top form, and I thought he was brilliant again yesterday. At a fantastic performance by him again, following on from how well he played in the Community Shield, how well he played in the FA Cup final. So there's still some speculation as to whether he might leave, but if he keeps playing as he has been, then I'll be more than happy for him to stay and continue, because he's looked really good. And of course as well, we can't let the game go without a special mention for Mohamed El Neni. Looked like his days at the club were over. He was out on loan, of course, last season, hadn't played in the Premier League for Arsenal for well over a year, but he came in the Community Shield, played brilliantly, and yesterday as well, again, he had a brilliant performance. He's very tidy. He doesn't really do anything flashy or clever. He just gets the ball, plays it simple, keeps possession, keeps the ball moving. Absolutely brilliant. Now, if we are able to get the signings in midfield that we clearly need, having El Neni playing like this, he can actually offer us something a little bit extra and will improve the squad. So I'm not gonna be so disappointed and frustrated if we can't get these new signings over the line now. El Neni coming into the squad again, I think he's going to improve us, and it just shows again the effect that Arteta has on these players to make them better, to improve them, which ultimately improves the whole team, doesn't it? So brilliant from El Neni. I just thought he was fantastic yesterday. And of course, we've still got Ceballos to come back in when he's a little bit fitter. He did come on for the last sort of 10-15 minutes, didn't he? So we've got a few options in midfield now, so that's positive as well. So really, there's nothing to complain about that performance, is there? I thought from back to front we were brilliant. With the ball, we were brilliant at times, but without the ball, we were fantastic. And I now feel as though we've got a plan every time we play, and you feel confident now that we can get a result pretty much every game. There's no one we need to fear anymore. You know, going away from home, we've got some big away games coming up, of course, early in the season. We're going to Anfield in a few weeks. We're going to Man United, Man City, all coming up early on. So Leeds as well, of course, newly promoted. There's going to be another tricky game, but now we can go to them games feeling confident that we're going to go with a plan. The players can execute the plan, and there's no reason why we can't feel confident that we're able to get results at these sort of games now. So brilliant start to the season. I just really want to congratulate the whole team really for a brilliant performance, and Arteta as well, all the coaching staff. I know it's early in the season, it's the first game, but don't want us to get carried away. But for me, I'm just really optimistic about how the season can go, where it can lead us really, because the improvements are now there for all to see. We don't seem to have the weaknesses, or the weaknesses that we had have been massively improved, which is mainly the shape of the team without the ball now. We now look like a good team, in possession and out of possession, and I think we could cause a few shocks this season, a few surprises. So that's our video for today. Just to say, looking back on the game yesterday, I'm over the moon with that performance. I'm over the moon with the start, and of course we've got another London derby coming up this weekend, late kick-off on Saturday, 8 o'clock, against West Ham at the Emirates. Obviously they suffered a difficult start, didn't they, losing to Newcastle yesterday, and they've had a few issues going on behind the scenes as well. So it's all set to be a game that we can win. I'll never take any game for granted, because anything can happen, as we know, but I'm certainly confident that we can go into that game now feeling good, and I'm confident of getting a result there as well. So continue our good start. It's all about building some momentum, especially as we play Liverpool the week after. So this is what it's all about. A great start, though, brilliant performance. I'm over the moon with that. Everybody played well, the substitutes as well, and it's looking good. I'm feeling great about the season. First game sometimes can bring you back down, crashing down to earth. This time it hasn't done. So let's all be optimistic as we can. Let's all get behind what's going on. Let's all try and support the team, support the manager, support the players, even maybe players that we didn't have any faith in before. They're all stepping up now, aren't they? They deserve our support, so let's get behind them all, and let's hope that it's not long until we're back in the stadium and we can actually give them the support they deserve, live as well, rather than virtually, as it's been unfortunately for a while now. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy my channel, please click the subscribe button. I'm over the 100 now, so I'm going to head towards 200, my next target. It seems a long way off yet, but the more support I can get be great. So please subscribe if you haven't already, and look out for some more videos coming up this week. Obviously I'll be previewing the West Ham game in a bit more detail later in the week as well. I'm hoping to do a live show again, a live podcast later on in the week as well, as we move towards the West Ham game. Get a few guests on as well to have a chat about that, so stay tuned for that. That'll be good. I'll be obviously promoting that once I've got that sorted out, and there's a few other bits and pieces as well as we go through the week, just stuff about the club in general, and some historical pieces as well about previous games and previous players and all this kind of stuff. So stay tuned for it all. Hope you're enjoying what I'm doing. I say thanks for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, and of course in the meantime, until next time, come on you Gunners!